Hello, Daisy Cakes. This is Daisy X Machina, the drag queen detective who investigates all things speculative in science fiction, fantasy, and horror. And this is a Get Ready With Me, where I get into drag to film a video later today. So we have Lynette, yay! We have Frank, and we have John. Thank you guys for showing up. And the question, as always, how is your reading going this week? Now, last week I had said I was reading the latest Flavia Deleuze, and I was excited that it was like a return to your typical or more traditional murder mystery. And I'm sure Lynette was biting her tongue because it went in a different direction. So what did I think of Flavia Deleuze? Honestly, it's not my favorite Flavia book. The twist, I'm trying to talk so not to do any spoilers if that's even relevant here, but I thought the twist sort of undid a lot of the background for the first, at least, well, the first 8 books or so. And I can't believe that Bradley planned the twist from the beginning. I think it must have just been for this book, he was trying to think of how can I make this a little different with the big twist. I don't know, maybe he planned it earlier. But I kind of preferred the universe of Flavia before this twist. And furthermore, it didn't make much sense to me. It took this character in, I think, a kind of an unbelievable direction. It wasn't speculative, but it was very much a fabulous sort of twist on Flavia's life. I don't know what I think about it. Not my favorite book, but it's just me. Could just be me. Alrighty, Lynette says a very unexpected direction. Yeah, so I'm curious what you thought of it. It wasn't my favorite. I am curious if he's planning on any more Flavia books. I actually would kind of enjoy a like a fast forward 10 years to like the 1960s, like a 20-year-old Flavia in the 60s or in the 70s. I think that could be really interesting, but I doubt if he'll do that. I miss that her sisters didn't feature much in this book. I didn't like the twist. Okay, good. I'm not the only one. Okay, it's Flavia Deleuze, Alan Bradley's mystery featuring a 10-year-old girl. I don't know how old she is now. She starts off 10 years old. I think in 12 books, she's what, 12, 13, 14. And she's so great. You've got to pick up the first book. And I know it sounds like it's not up your alley, and I didn't think it was up mine, but it's a good one. Reading The Sky So Big and Black by John Barnes. Have not heard of it. I think the twist ruined the character the twist is about. Agree. Okay. Oh, I got this a new top because I wanted to do a gold. This is just for getting makeup or putting on makeup. It's just a scarf with a hole in it. So, and I did go out in drag last week for Gay Pride. We ate in a casino, in a restaurant in a casino, and I looked ridiculous. I had this big purple wig, this 60s go-go outfit on, and people were treating me like I was trans, which is weird. But anyway, different times we live in. Okay. Let's see. So I wanted to do another gold look. And last time I did like the browns and gold, which I'm going to try to do again this week. So I didn't know what to start reading. I also read a middle grade by K.R. Alexander. Very good spooky middle grade. Don't think you guys would be interested in it. I don't think I'd recommend it for adults. I would recommend it for kids. But then I was like, what am I going to read now? Because I still can't read The Queen, which is what I picked for Shelve It or Shove It because it's not being released until the end of the month, which really annoys me. But what are you going to do? And it was either between T.J. Klune or the new T. Kingfisher. And I went with the new T. Kingfisher because I just like her writing so much. It's like very adult subjects, but it has that whimsical sort of fairy tale children's voice in the writing. That really makes it unique. Okay, so I need a dark, dark brown. Here we go. Oh, tell me the twist. I'm not going to talk about the twist in case there's someone that actually wants to read Flavia. Ooh, reading the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu. Interesting, John. Eating with my parents. Bon appetit, Mooney. You should carry a side. Okay, glad you're feeling better. You're eating with, oh no, she was eating her parents. YouTube crime channels, you see stuff like that. Also tomorrow, I'm going to book publishing in your country. Interesting. Finished Moonflower Murders, the sequel to Magpie Murders. Again, a book within a book. The mystery in the novel and the real life murder the author investigated. Huh. Huh. Okay. Also read a nonfiction book about smallpox. That's the one where the vaccine, didn't they? Well, you could tell us that isn't like in the 1700s they were actually like inoculating kids with smallpox to make sure they get it as children. But that was considered very controversial at the time. What am I doing? Here. My wife and I just finished binging the Dr. Blake Mysteries. Don't know that one. NF is nonfiction. Lovely topic, Lynette. Luckily, there's no more smallpox. I started Attica. Oh, middle grade fantasy. Kids go into an attic of their new home, enter a huge attic. World, hat stand for it's cars made out of old sewing machines. I want to read that one. Got my smallpox facts right. Fictional doctor from Ballarat in Australia in the late 50s to 1961. Practically exist in a fantasy world. Well, they didn't create Hobbiton back then, or over there. They inoculated people with the milder version of smallpox, which had a 1% death rate, compared to the most serious version that had 30%. There we go. Okay. God, this side looks so much better than this side. Oh. Okay. Still have my inoculation mark on my right shoulder. I've been to Ballarat, historical town scene of Eureka Stockade. Miners rebelled against a mining tax. T. Jefferson bio, where he talked about how incredible they could prevent it. They mentioned that in one of the episodes. Okay. The Eureka Stockade could be compared to the Boston Tea Party. I did not know that. Had 3 COVID shots and 3 shots for other stuff, not getting any more. I think I do. I need to get some shots. I got the COVID and a booster, but I didn't get any flu shots for this year, and I've never gotten shots for shingles. I don't know if I even need it. But I'm of the age where they talk about shingle shots. Get shingles if you had chicken pox. See, I've never had chicken pox, so I guess that means I don't need it. The only childhood illness I had growing up was the mumps. Which was no fun. Heard shingles. Yeah, I've heard the same thing. Had my second shingles vaccine a couple of months ago. Had it twice. Just to make sure, you do not need the shot if you have not had chickenpox, because I have not had chickenpox. Mm. I think I'm going to darken this. Measles and mumps for John. Need more than one. I don't know anything about it. Okay. Some babies have chickenpox in a very mild form. I only knew my second son had it because his older brother had it. Third son got chickenpox at age 18. He was far sicker. You need 2 with the Shingvax vaccine. My mother and sister have had shingles. Yeah, I heard it's really painful. So my favorite program I'm watching right now is the Disney's Agatha All the Way. Which is a sequel or spin-off for WandaVision, one of my favorite Marvel movies. Not movie, series. Okay, these are not even, but good enough. I know you guys aren't really into comic book shows, but Agatha Harkness in the old Marvel comics was this like old woman, and they aged her way down in the series. But it's still, excuse me, played by a non-conventionally attractive woman. I really like the actress. But they have this boy, or young man, teenager, who plays this character, and I thought he was the Witch Boy. But then I looked it up, and the Witch Boy is DC Comics, and this is Marvel Comics. So I'm getting my universes mixed up. But I used to love the Witch Boy. I think I need a new liner. And I know that those Marvel shows and Marvel movies have gotten really tired, but I have to tell you something. If you were to turn back time to the 70s, 80s, those of us who are into comic books, if you want to talk about the most disrespected form of entertainment back then, this was long before graphic novels. I mean, the idea that any of these Marvel characters and movies would become a big theme would be unthinkable. You know, there were some comics and live action, but live action, I mean, there's some cartoons like Justice League and Spider-Man, but live action, there was, well, the 60s Batman, which is very campy and funny, fantastic. But I think the Hulk was the only serious one. There was Wonder Woman, and she was kind of campy too. But other than that, there was nothing that would be remotely mainstream. So seeing the Marvel universe being so popular now is just I don't even know how to describe it, but it's like some type of comeuppance. Okay. Hey, cool gamers here. Thank you for joining us. Okay, we have a long conversation about vaccines. I was going to pay for the vaccine, $200 a jab. What? Oh, it's because I see, they only covered at certain ages. Interesting. A yearly shot against shingles. I need to ask my doctor about this. More afraid of a heart attack. That something like that, want to be around to see what would happen on November. What are we talking about now? Oh, Guy Fawkes Day. Okie dokie. Okay, here we go. We can have a blood test to see if you had chicken pox. That's what I need to do. Very sad Marvel movies are so popular. Actually, you hate them. I'm exhausted by them too. And I'm, like I was just saying, I was a big fan of the comics back in the day. And they've gotten to be so many that you just can't keep up. I stand by WandaVision, the best Marvel series ever. And I also like Agatha, the spinoff. I did not like the new origin story for Namor in Wakanda. I didn't mind the origin story. I just didn't think it was, I didn't think they pulled it off very well. When I read comics as a kid, it was never Marvel, it was DC. Ah, you missed the X-Men and the Avengers and Fantastic Four. Hey, Lori, glad you're here. Oh, you missed so much. We're talking about Flavia earlier. Neither Lynette and I were thrilled about the twist, if you've read it. And we're talking about vaccines. Nonfiction November coming up. Not keen on the prompts. Yeah, I don't do those anymore, the readathons. What are we talking about? Do you live in a bubble? I wish I lived in a bubble. I'm sure we all live in a bubble. But if we're talking about the elections, I am well aware. Voted last week. Never read comic books at all. I think I would recommend Sandman, but now Neil Gaiman's going through. Oh, Alan Moore is one of the best comic writers ever. We had sporadic Marvel Gold Key in DC Comics until the mid-'80s. The 80s is when comics started getting dark, because that's when DC had their, was it DC that had Dark Horse, or was that Marvel? And the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What you see now for the Turtles was, if you go way back and see the original black and white inked Turtle comics, they were so darker and cooler than what they are now. And then they sold it to Archie Comics and, of course, got into the mainstream. But in its day, the Turtles were not for kids. And talking about not, got me off on comics. Cerebus the Aardvark sounds completely stupid. One of the most brilliant comics ever. Look up Cerebus the Aardvark. Okay, I've stopped talking about comics now. Okay, I'm going to cut the crease. We're going to do gold. The only superhero comics I read as a child was The Phantom, because my mother bought them for my brother. How interesting. I did like the 60s Batman series. That was so over-the-top, campy, fun. There are some comic books about a guy who fought robots. I can't remember the brand. Huh. Yeah, I was never into the Superman TV series because that came out in the 50s, and in the 70s when I was more watching them, they didn't really have reruns that often. Magnus Robot Fighter. Not Mega. Love the first Superman movie. You know, I was just going down a rabbit hole with, I'm going to cut in yellow and put gold over it. Or do I have orange? No, I think it better be yellow. I was going down this rabbit hole with Lost in Space, seeing like these interviews with some of the old actors and stuff. And I did love Lost in Space. The first season, when it was in black and white, it did try to follow the premise of Robinson, the Robinson family in space, like Robinson Crusoe, you know, the Swiss Family Robinson in space. And it was a much more serious, in quotes, serious science fiction at the time for the first season, the black and white season. But then the actor who played the doctor thought that his character was going to get killed off. So he started doing these comedy bits to ingratiate himself with the audience so they wouldn't fire him. But he got so popular, and simultaneously at that time is when Batman was really taking off. So the second season and the third season, they started getting campier and more ridiculous, culminating with apparently one of the most infamous episodes called The Great Vegetable Rebellion. I'm going to have to look that up and rewatch it. It's one of those episodes, I think it was voted one of the most memorable episodes on TV, which could be good or bad, but I think at the time, the actors were embarrassed to do it. The writer was embarrassed to have written it. Okay, I'm going to quickly dust. Well, this is still sticky with gold. Okay. Love the first Superman with Christopher Reeve. Me too. Love the Dark Knight. I like the post-apocalyptical Mighty Samson. By the way, talking about the Dark Knight, those the Joker, he's become really a popular anti-hero now with like Keith Ledger, and I think the latest one bombed. But that goes back to the 80s with those Dark Knight books. Because I remember one of the limited series was called The Last Laugh or something. It was a Joker. It was very dark. Okay. Batman has no superpowers, therefore slightly more believable. Is he? Is he? Mutant animals were so crazy. Even back then, I thought Lois Lane was stupid. Superman collapsed in the bathroom without his glasses on, and Lois still. That was always the funniest thing about Superman. How no one could recognize Clark Kent as Superman because he wore glasses, had a different hairstyle. Don't think the Phantom had superpowers. Every time there's a nuclear war, those mutants come out of the woodwork. Yep. The Ghost Who Walks. Catholic Church didn't like Robin's costume because it was like a Speedo. Yeah, they thought they could see his dingleberries. Robin was well endowed. I think the Phantom has mainly been forgotten. Yeah, I don't really remember. I think there was an attempt to revive him. Am I thinking right? The Billy Zane had a movie with the Phantom. Didn't do very well. Oh, what's the one? The Green Hornet. He didn't have superpowers, did he? With Kato, who was Bruce Lee in the TV show. Recall reading the Phantom on Sunday Comics, but don't know his origin stories. Wouldn't mind a Phantom revival. Hereditary Protector. Yeah, I love Jack Nicholson. I like those old Tim Burton Batman movies. And they were like a cross between kind of campy, but kind of like one foot in each realm. In serious and campy. Okay, I need to get on with this with some black. Green Hornet, the movie bombed. Yeah, they tried to do it. But I'm talking about the old TV show with Bruce Lee. That was, I have no idea who played the Hornet back then. But one of the few Asian actors on TV at the time. Okay, here we go. Loved him in The Shining too. Felt like screaming and laughing at the same time. Oh, Jack Nicholson. I don't think there's anything funny. Well, I take that back. I was going to say there's nothing funny about his performance in The Shining, but I guess I could see it. I am really curious about the HBO version of. Um, I heard they're remaking Salem's Lot because I thought they did a good TV version back in the day um, with a John Boy, the actor who played John Boy. Talking about the Waltons, if anyone remembers. I think I liked the Waltons growing up, but I was also made to watch it. That was like one of those family shows that we all had to watch together. I don't know if I would have actually watched it on my own. I certainly didn't seek out period pieces set in the Great Depression normally, but okay. Very good actor, very versatile. I think we're talking about Jack Nicholson. After I finished watching the Vera series, I might watch a couple of Stephen King movies I haven't seen. Oh, John Hurt is great. My daughter loved the Waltons. Richard Thomas equals John Boy. Yep, that's it. John Hurt. Yeah, the Alien movies. Like to have been so many. Was he in The Omen? John Hurt. But of course, what I'm going to recommend is The Naked Civil Servant. It's both a documentary. It's a book by Quentin Crisp, and it was a movie starring John Hurt, who reprised his role in the sequel, I don't know, 30 years later to play the older Quentin Crisp. It's really good. Patti LaBelle or Diana Ross, which diva would read for filth? What are we talking about? But hey, Angel, thank you for joining us. Waltons is too sugary sweet for me. They share the Waltons in the UK. Oh, I did. I watched Jimmy Dynamite. I love that show. And that was actually a spinoff from Maude, right? Because the actress who played Florida got her own show. And Maude was a spinoff from All the Family. Everything comes from Norman Lear. But Good Times, when it came on, it was supposed to be about Florida and her husband, raising kids. But this Jimmy Walker stole the show. The show became about Jimmy Walker because he was so hilarious. He could lift an eyebrow and win an Oscar. I said that about Gandalf. Ian, what's his name? Ian Holmes? That the actor that played Gandalf could do more by lifting one eyebrow than most other actors can do in a monologue. An angel has appeared. Oh, we're talking about Angel Hall. You've never heard of Good Times? Well, I just told you about it. Didn't watch Good Times, but if I were black, I sure. You don't have to be black. Got to be Good Time. There was a lot of good shows back then. The Jeffersons. Oh, what's the one with Rerun? Shit. Because the actor that played Rerun stole that show too. I don't remember. It's annoying me. I don't know that. Can't remember that show. Lori watched Good Times. Saul Quentin Crisp on an old Dick Cavett show. He was brilliant interviewee. Ian McClellan. Okay, thank you. Also hit it. Yeah, I didn't watch that. Norman Lear was a genius. Did watch The Jeffersons, which again, spit off from All in the Family. Okay, so I need to crisp up these lines. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I'm going to see Coco Peru tonight, who's a drag queen. She's not a drag race drag queen, but she's a hilarious and wonderful performer. I've seen her several times in San Francisco, and I was really excited to see that she was having a show in Vegas. They went a little crazy with the black. I mean, the gold. What was the show with Kit the Car? Oh, that was Knight Rider with David Hasselhoff. My Mother the Car. Oh my God, that's going way, way back. That's going back to the 60s. Knight Rider. I know Coco Peru. Yay, she is great. If you ever have a chance to see her live show, you got to take advantage. Yeah, David Hasselhoff. Okay. He also loved MacGyver. He had no taste. Well, at least Knight Rider had a speculative element to it. Okay, I'm going to dust on some black and hopefully smoke things out. Oops. Oh, another seminal show with African American sitcom was before all these was Sanford and Son. The brilliant Red Fox. Okay. I liked My Mother the Car as a child, but also my favorite Martian. I liked that, and I also watched Mr. Ed. Never heard of My Mother. Isn't that a ridiculous concept? It's this guy's mother died and was reincarnated as a car. I don't quite understand what happened there. Lost in Space was terrible. Was embarrassed to watch it, but the movie had great costumes. I don't know what you mean about the movie, because I know they did a movie, but I actually liked the Netflix series quite a lot. Yes, Doctor Who, favorite TV show. Like the first two seasons of Lost in Space. When I still watch TV, MASH was my favorite show. Yeah, Doctor Who isn't for everyone. I think you do have to start watching it young rather than picking it up as an adult. MASH was another one of those family shows where we all had to watch it. Along with the Waltons. Okay, so I think what I want to do there was a Lost in Space movie, but it was not good. My family did not watch TV together. So it's on my own. MASH was shown at 11:45 in Scotland. Wow. As far as music goes, I like The Who more than The Who. Oh, the Mongolian folk metal band. Okay, I'm going to. Okay. Okay. I want to be done with the eyes, but I do have some chunky glitter. We only had one TV in the long room, so we had to watch it together. Mom would be cooking dinner when Doctor Who was on. All four children watched Doctor Who. Love that memory. The Who has done some music on Star Wars games. Didn't know that. My dad and I watched it in the 60s onward. Lori's family is obviously dysfunctional because they didn't watch TV together. Unheard of. Dysfunctional for other reasons. Yeah, I did not have the same taste as my parents, but there weren't that many that shows that were like the family watched together. It was like MASH, The Waltons. I think I had to watch Gunsmoke at one point. Thankfully, that was canceled. This looks awfully orange. I don't like this. See if I can brush this off. Oh, my father did like, I'm sure some of you will remember this, The Prisoner, the Patrick McGowan. Which at the time I thought was so cool, but I didn't understand a thing about it. No idea what was going on. So that's just some chunky glitter just to pick up the light. Did stream that online. What are we talking about? Oh, the Scots? I don't know that one. RTV was a TV record player radio combo. Must have cost my parents a fortune. Arness's brother was hilarious in the Airplane movie. He played a child molester commercial pilot. That was the guy that played on Mission Impossible. That was Peter Graves. I know so much about TV. That's another one. I loved Mission Impossible. The seasons with Barbara Bain and Martin Landau. And anyway. Oh, that's funny. Neighbors visited just to watch TV. Prisoner was way ahead of its time. Yeah, that was about the same time as us for the color TV. I remember that because I felt like we were the last people on the planet that had a color TV. We had a black and white TV. But my uncle sold television sets. So we got My father couldn't resist getting a good deal on a color TV, and I got to keep the black and white TV. They let me, I was, I don't know, 7, 8. I got my own TV in my room. I thought I was such hot shit. I don't think I really cared that it was black and white at that point. Just the idea I had my own TV set. And none of my friends had their own TV set. Okay, so I still want to ombre this just a little tiny bit, and then I'm done. Loved Mission Impossible. I don't know the Lemmy show, Lori. I'll have to look that one up. We were the first on our street to get a black and white TV in the early 60s and the first to get a color TV in the 70s. My dad gave me a very small color set at graduation. Our old black and white TV went in the kitchen, so your mom could watch Coronation Street while cooking. Love that. As kids, my sister knew how to wield power when other kids wanted to watch Superman. Okay, I am, what did I say? I was going to. Just do a little bit of black too. Okay, that's it. Why does it look so patchy? Okay. Okay. Original TV Superman died under mysterious circumstances. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Lemmy show is Scottish. Never reached the UK. Interesting. Okay. I think it's time for lips. Oh, and I have a gold lipstick. One of the prompts in nonfiction in November is joy, and all I can think of is a book about a cat joining a family. Love those royals. Okay. Also, Bob Crane died under. That is crazy. Oh my gosh, you guys, look up Bob Crane on Google him. He's a Hogan's Heroes guy. It's bizarre. His death is bizarre. Mom still loves them. The Royals. It seems most people have chosen a book about people joining cults. Ugh, does not appeal to me. There was a Yanef actor in the late 50s and early 60s. He was in Exodus, who was murdered in a car park. Wow. I hate the Royals. So you were anti-royal like those French revolutionaries. Oh, talking about crimes, last night in my house here in Vegas, there was like a helicopter circling like right over our house. Apparently, a couple blocks away, there was like this shootout. All these things happened. This lipstick kind of disappears. I just, almost feel like this should be a topper, but I'm going to go in with some eyeshadow. Sal Mineo, he's the actor from Rebel Without a Cause, the young, attractive one, and he died. I think he was murdered in San Francisco. And he was a gay man at a time when it wasn't safe to be a gay man, so who knows? After Arthur, they are the rightful rulers of Britain. Oh my, the craziest thing that ever happened to me concerning like police being in the neighborhood. I was working in Berkeley in a law firm. I work in law firms. And for some reason, I was in the front, and it was this, I didn't like the attorney I worked for at the time. But anyway, he, so it's this little law office in Berkeley, and suddenly these armed SWAT members came into the office. They had their guns drawn. They were like looking around, you know, like you see on TV shows, you know, and I was the only one in the front office, and I was just like shocked. And they looked at me, and they were kind of shocked because they were looking around, and they're like, is this an import-export business? I go, no, they're next door. They came into the wrong office. Thank God I didn't do anything that they could have triggered them, because they just sort of, But they didn't apologize or anything. It's just like they just backed out and went on their way. Can you imagine? I mean, they must have known they freaked me out. I was probably in my 20s at the time. Okay, that gave a little dimension. I think I need more. I thought it would match the eyes more. Back in 1996, I heard helicopter after helicopter over my house. I turned the radio to find out there had been a massacre. Yipes, at Port Arthur. At first, they said 8 people were shot, but 35 people were killed. Oh my God. U.S. police seem to be at the wrong place. Hey, I can testify to that. Pizza delivery guys seem to find the right addresses when the police can't. Yeah, what is up with that? Okay. I'm going to... Okay. I feel like it was looking good for a minute, and now I did something. Okay. I'm sure you guys love seeing me spend hours trying to fix this. Okay, good enough. They are so arrogant and unfriendly, not like the police I remember in Britain. Actually, don't the police in Britain don't have guns? I would not dare to ask an American police officer for directions. I think the police can be nicer in UK and Australia because they aren't worried about civilians being armed. I think it's that way in Japan too. Okay, so let's put on some eyelashes. Actually, I want to but I have this gold highlighter. I just want to see. Can't even see it. I'm going to read more Japanese books the next year. So far, I've only read Japanese books about cats. Oh, you haven't read any your I was going to grab one, but Murakawa, is that his name? Japanese are cat crazy, and I love it. I'm Japanese American. I'm cat crazy too. Maybe it's genetic. I doubt it. I'm pretty sure in Japan, their police don't have guns either. Oh, just so you guys know, I'm not going to be having a live cast next week. I will be in Nashville. I'm taking my husband to see Cyndi Lauper for his birthday. She was one of his favorite artists growing up, and she's not coming to Vegas. I don't know why. She's having a tour, but Vegas is not one of the stops. So we're going to do something unexpected. But yeah, I will not be here next week. Okay, the eyes are done. Murakami, yes, you need to read at least one book by him. Guys Marrying the Virtual Girlfriends. Rico's here, yay! Just watching the extended Good Enough video with all the wrestlers. I don't know that one. I'll have to look that one up. Okay, guys, I'm getting close to the end. Oh, this makeup has taken longer than I thought. I was getting close to getting done in an hour, and now we're back to an hour and a half. And the hair I grabbed was this orange and blonde number. Okay, does not go with gold at all, but maybe it does. I'll zoom out. Tired. I am going to film a video today. I'm filming another part of my, I think 100 fantasy authors. And this week I'm going to release one of the science fiction authors. Is that right? I am getting my dates wrong. I will be here next week. I will be here next week. I won't be here the following week. Oh my God, I'm losing it. Okay, once again, I will be here next week. I will not be here the following week. Okay, so this week I'm going to release science fiction, then the following week, Shelve It or Shove It. And here we have the final look. I was going for gold, and I do like these eyes. And I've done something similar to this before, but I have chunky glitter to really, hopefully, make it pop. Good Lord. I prefer if you take 90 minutes rather than 60. Oh, thank you, Lynette. I think I've been like averaging probably over an hour, like an hour 15, but don't try reading that guy. Murakami, is that what we're talking about? Because he is bizarre. Fair warning. U.S. police has become very militarized. It's called the rise of the warrior cop. I've never heard that phrase, but makes sense. That's why they banned semi-automatic rifles in Australia. Impossible to do that here now. Oh, there was a tragic, getting off subject again, there's this tragic incident here in Vegas because we have rifle ranges all over the place where you can go to shoot guns. And I have no problem with that. You know, it's different than owning automatics. But the tragedy was, because we're so unregulated and people are such idiots, this guy was instructing a little girl to shoot an automatic rifle or machine gun. I don't know what it was, but it was some big machine that was probably as big as she was. She lost control, pushing the trigger, and just went and killed the guy, her instructor. So I don't know what to make of that one. It's kind of a little bit just desserts, but then again, no one deserves to have that happen. Should never have happened in the first place. Anyway, I'm getting off subject again. I will be filming a next part of my fantasy series. I'm actually getting really close to finishing filming them. I think I'm on part 7 of releasing them. So I'm going to have to figure out a new series, and I have an idea. So that should be exciting, but I'll probably get to that next month. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, John. Thank you, Rico. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Lynette. Thank you, everyone who showed up. And once again, I will be here next week, but not the following week. So everyone have a wonderful week, and may all the books you read be blessed.